this moment. It's President Barack Obama accepting the Nobel Peace Prize on December 10th, 2009. He officially won the award a month earlier, and he'd been nominated for it on January 31st, 2009. That's 11 days after becoming president and having accomplished exactly nothing. It's an award that has gone to Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, and Martin Luther King Jr., wiping some of the sheen off of the prestigious award committee, considering Obama would go on, by the way, to bomb Libya without consent from Congress, send more troops to war in Afghanistan, and engage in a clandestine drone war that would kill thousands of innocent Pakistanis. All that said, another newly elected president is being discussed as the possible Nobel Peace Prize winner, President Trump. Why? For getting very close to getting North Korean leader Kim Jong-un very close to having a meeting that could get North Korea very close to agreeing to some kind of denuclearization. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. Sound crazy? Well, guess who doesn't think so? South Korean President Moon Jae-in. When someone recently suggested Moon should get the prize, he said it's really President Trump who should receive it. I think the case for President Trump winning the Nobel Peace Prize is a whole lot more convincing than the case was for President Obama. But let's discuss. Joining me now, Unfiltered contributor Beckett Adams, commentary writer for The Washington Examiner, Unfiltered contributor Dave Smith, host of the Part of the Problem podcast, and Unfiltered senior producer Andy Levy. Andy, we don't have anything yet in the way of North Korean agreement or denuclearization. We may never. But even where we are right now is closer to anywhere we've gotten in the past administration.
True, but I think we need to slow our roll on this and see what happens. Like, as you said, it's way too soon to be talking about a Nobel Peace Prize. Right now, all we have is empty words. And look, even putting President Trump, who can change his opinion quicker than my grandmother could complain about the weather, all we have really is some statements from Kim Jong-un, not historically the most reliable of actors, and someone who has said similar things before to what he is saying now. That said, if this somehow does end up with a denuclearized North Korea, absolutely. But if something does come from this, if we get a denuclearized North Korea or some form of North-South reconciliation, there is no doubt that President Trump should be considered for the Nobel Peace Prize. The interesting question is, does that mean President Moon and Kim Jong-un have to also be considered for it? Because the idea of Kim Jong-un, the guy who, used anti-aircraft guns to kill generals who just the idea of him accepting a Nobel Peace Prize is even more outlandish.
Well, let's talk about the idea of Donald Trump accepting a Nobel Peace Prize, because I don't think anyone domestically or internationally thinks of peace when they think of Donald Trump. Here, anyway, it's a time of civil unrest. This is a man who has said there are some very fine Nazis. I think you could argue he has sowed some racial discord in this country. So should there really be a carve-out for someone who might get an important policy win, but whose rhetoric and persona does not match that?
I would say there's definitely a carve-out, and for Trump especially, at least it's just rhetoric. The precedent for awarding people who you ordinarily don't think should get this has been crossed a long time ago. We gave it to Arafat, we gave it to Gorbachev, and we gave it to Henry Kissinger, who's a war criminal. All right? So, I mean...
Peace is not the requisite,
I was going to say, in that trio, in that ungodly trio, Trump is he's actually up here.
He's a pacifist.
He would actually improve the overall status of the Nobel Peace Prize compared to, like, again, Kissinger. But again, going what you're saying, like, maybe they might be close enough. Close enough works in hand grenades and horseshoes. I don't know why we're talking about it right now with the Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, Dave, you make the point on this program all the time, and we love that you do, that Trump's rhetoric might be something extraordinary, but compared to the policies and actions of past administrations, or say of what a Hillary administration might have looked like, he's actually not done anything in the kinds of interventionist ways that others have. So is it outside the realm of possibility that he could get himself a Peace Prize?
No, I don't think so. Well, look, I mean, you made the point already, but once you gave this to Obama, a guy who was at war every single day of his administration, and of course other people, you mentioned Arafat getting it, and Yitzhak Rabin got it, and Bill Clinton did not when they brokered that peace, which, I don't know if you've checked up, didn't really last that long. But no, look, Hillary Clinton was running explicitly on a no-fly zone in Syria where Russian planes were flying. She was running on war. if he could pull this off, it's still a huge if. And I think even bigger than denuclearization is ending these work, death, torture camps that Kim Jong-un has all over his country. If that is pulled off, throw awards at everybody. It would be an amazing accomplishment. So, yeah, but I'm pretty cautiously optimistic on this one.
No, me too. I'm pessimistic we'll get a denuclearized North Korea to begin with. But let's say we get something better than what we have right now. Let's put this in context, all of you. How big a deal would this be in relation to, say, peace in the Middle East, end of the Syrian civil war, and to the Yemeni crisis, and to the Rohingya crisis? I mean, there's a lot going on, some probably more attainable than others. Where do you think, Andy, that a stable North Korea would rank in those list of accomplishments?
It's a tough call. First of all, it would be a huge deal. I mean, it would rank highly. It's hard to sort of categorize that in with a blanket sort of peace in the Middle East, because what's going on in the Middle East spills over to so many other parts of the world, as we know.
And for centuries.
And centuries. So I think that is sort of the, no pun intended, the holy grail.
Right.
And Syria just by itself is scary because the Russians are heavily involved. So you've got, and Iran. So you have almost like a World War threat there.
Right.
But look, an unstable nuclear North Korea is not great for the world, and it's certainly not great for America. And having spent a lovely year in South Korea, including 90 days on the DMZ, I can assure you that what was true in the 1950s is still true today. That would be a horrible place for us to have to fight a war.
Well, Trump tweeted the North Korean War was won, so congratulations and thank you for your service.
Oh, mission accomplished.
Yeah, please.
Well, look, I think that the North Korea situation has to be right up there. I mean, just because the ones that you brought up, Yemen could be ended in a phone call, and that's why, to me, that's the most outrageous one, because we're actually supporting a regime that is resulting in hundreds of thousands of people dying, 1 million cases of cholera. But look, if you want to look at North Korea, you're talking about the most brutal regime on the planet. If we could, it's very hypothetical, close down those torture death camps, we could denuclearize them. This accomplishment is, I mean, it's right up there with anything else.
Right, and that's why I don't want to say cynical, but yeah, I'm cynical about it, because I would say a lot of the ones you're mentioning right now, a lot of the stuff can be resolved with the white hats, which is what they're supposed to do. But North Korea is not a situation where you can send in the UN or just have a phone call like we're saying. Like, this is so far out that if they actually do accomplish this, like, I don't know, like 2 more terms in office.
No, that's when you George Costanza and you just go out on a high note. I'm leaving on a high note. That's it. I'm out. Okay.